I believe that rather than bringing out the best in me, you can bring out the worst in me. The reality is we have to co-parent and we have to keep it loving and kind, and we have to work on our relationship and make ourselves get back. You know, you're my best mate, right, period.
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I wanted to ask you, what do you make of Dorit claiming in the Housewives trailer that you haven't texted her once to see your children? What do you say about that?
It's not true, but I'm not going to discuss the kids on TV.
Okay.
Meet Paul Kemsley, arguably one of the shadiest husbands in the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills history. He was introduced in season 7 alongside his wife, Beverly Hills star Dorit Kemsley, and from the moment this couple stepped on screen, something just didn't quite add up. They branded themselves as a powerful, untouchable duo, constantly flaunting their extreme wealth, designer lifestyle, and over-the-top luxury. Every other scene, PK was cracking jokes, name-dropping connections, and positioning himself as one of Beverly Hills' most successful businessmen. But behind the charm, the accent, and the carefully crafted persona, there was a very different story unfolding. Because beneath all the jokes and grand claims sat a growing trail of lawsuits, mounting debts, and a narrative that felt just a little too convenient. As it turns out, PK wasn't just exaggerating his success. He was allegedly hiding millions in unpaid gambling debt, alongside a deeply messy bankruptcy history back in the UK. And that lovable husband image he leaned into so heavily, it also started to look a lot more like a performance at some point. So as we unpack PK Kemsley's surprisingly messy downfall, one thing becomes very clear. He isn't just a reality TV husband, he's a walking financial mystery. Most people today know Paul Kemsley from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They know him as the man who flaunted immense wealth, drove luxury cars, and surrounded himself with elite connections. But what most people don't realize is that PK did not come from generational wealth or old money. His beginnings were relatively ordinary. He entered the business world at a young age, reportedly stepping into property development in his early 20s. During the 1990s and early 2000s, he built a name for himself in the UK real estate scene. He co-founded Rock Joint Ventures Limited, a property investment company focused on commercial real estate. At its peak, the company managed hundreds of millions of pounds worth of property assets, giving PK the credibility of a serious businessman, at least on paper. On the show, PK has even admitted that his wealth came somewhat suddenly, and that his success was heavily tied to the booming property market of that era.
On hard times.
I'm the kid who grew up in a normal place and ended up a billionaire out of nowhere. And now I got taken down, because if you get too big for your boots, you get taken down. So you have to ride that.
Before moving to the US and prior to 2009, PK's financial career was thriving. He wasn't just making money, he was building high-level connections. He worked with one of the most prominent football clubs in England, Tottenham Hotspur, where he served as vice chairman, and was involved in deals connected to global football icon Pelé. The image of extreme wealth he later showcased on the show, he actually had all of that, at least in the beginning, until 2009. In 2008, the 2008 financial crisis hit, and PK's business empire began to unravel. His company collapsed under the pressure, and the fallout was severe. By 2012, he had been officially declared bankrupt in the UK, reportedly owing tens of millions of pounds to creditors, including major institutions like Barclays. At that point, PK had little choice but to leave everything behind, including unresolved debts, and move somewhere he could start over. So, in 2013, he relocated to the United States. By 2015, he had already met Dorit Kemsley, who was working as a fashion designer at the time. The two quickly built a relationship, had a lavish wedding in New York, and began a new life in Beverly Hills. And they didn't exactly start small. Their Beverly Hills mansion reportedly spanned nearly 9,000 square feet, and was valued at over $13 million, setting the tone for the lifestyle they would later showcase on television. During this period, PK was also actively rebuilding his image and network. Around 2014, one of his most notable moves was beginning to manage Boy George. By the time the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills introduced PK in 2016, his relationship with Boy George was already well established, presented on the show almost casually, but very strategically, as proof of his ongoing celebrity connections. 2016 marked the entry of Dorit Kemsley onto the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She arrived on the show with a noticeably manufactured accent and the image of an extremely wealthy housewife. She regularly wore designer outfits worth thousands of dollars, drove luxury cars, and hosted lavish, over-the-top parties.
It's like a Grecian
goddess.
It's gold.
It is. It looks like a big gold goose took a big gold all over Dorit's head.
Look at this. This is next level. Like, I don't even know. Oh, is that real? Is that real gold leaf? Oh, gold leaves in my hair. It's very runway. PK, do you like it? Very runway.
Get out of everyone's way.
No glass. What are you thinking?
Well, here's the thing. I'll be drinking a lot. Oh my God, I'm gonna be drinking a lot tonight. It just feels so great to be glamming again, creating a look, and hosting a party. I mean...
Hi, Dorit.
Hi, Andy.
What were you going for today, mysterious lady?
I was going for fashion, fashion, fashion.
PK was introduced on the show around the same time as Dorit's ultra-wealthy husband. On screen, he positioned himself as loving and attentive, gifting Dorit luxury cars, diamond-studded jewelry, and fully leaning into a lifestyle of excess right alongside her.
Happy birthday, baby.
Oh my God! Oh my God, my husband's thoroughly gonna kill me. $950.
Despite this carefully curated image of wealth, both the cast and the audience couldn't help but feel like something was off. There was an underlying sense that this couple wasn't entirely authentic. People constantly questioned whether they were truly this wealthy, or simply trying very hard to appear that way.
So somebody that's pretending to be somebody she's not.
On the show, PK's unconventional humor and overall behavior also quickly became a topic of discussion. There were multiple moments where he acted in ways that left everyone thinking, wait, what? One of the most talked about incidents was the infamous Pantygate. For context, during a group dinner where everyone, including PK, was present, fellow housewife Erica Jane chose not to wear underwear under her dress. She ended up sitting directly across from PK, which led to an accidental and awkward situation. While it clearly wasn't intentional on Erica's part, both Dorit and PK turned it into a major issue, dragging the topic across several episodes. And during the entire ordeal, PK made a number of comments that many viewers found questionable, to say the least.
It doesn't look good under my dress.
You know, the funny thing is I was sitting there, and obviously, you know, I'm a straight male, so I noticed quite early on. I knew it wasn't nude underwear. But I'm never going to say anything because it's completely inappropriate.
I don't know if she deliberately flashed anyone, but he's a man for crying out loud. I completely understand PK could not stop staring at Erica's hoo-ha. To me, PK, I swear to you, when I first saw, I thought she was wearing nude underwear.
I was getting hot.
Like hot?
No, not
aroused
hot. No, under the collar, like embarrassed.
Hot like, what the f? I've got some
like-
girls snatched staring at me.
No,
in the
like
face.
hot as in, I'm sitting there, I've got to focus, and then I just keep going like this. Do you know what I mean? It was one of those.
Just tell me one thing
Sit
right
a
now.
different way.
Were you a little turned on?
Not even remotely, babe. I don't
Tiny bit turned on? PK is not going to say something when we're within a group about something that is so fundamentally uncomfortable to him.
What am I supposed to say? Close your legs, darling. I don't like the view. I didn't mind the view.
I know.
Honestly, this pretty much tells you everything you need to know about this man. Moments like these made people seriously question whether he was actually the loving, respectful husband he claimed to be, or if that image was just another performance. Because beyond the jokes and the charm, there was always something slightly off about his behavior. The audience may have been entertained by the controversy he brought to the show, but that doesn't necessarily mean they liked him. Aside from frequently making problematic remarks, PK also had a habit of joking in ways that felt out of place. His humor often didn't land well with the other cast members, and more often than not, it led to tension, awkwardness, and even heated arguments.
Do you ever feel vulnerable? Like I'm scared someone would do something to me?
No.
No?
No, you can't think like that.
I was thinking, I'd think, what if someone tried to hurt me?
Do you really want to hurt me?
No, like, no, honestly.
Carl, nobody thinks like that.
If you're one person with
Have to stop all that.
thousands staring, like you could be a little bit vulnerable.
You could have issues. You can't even get on with your best friend, so you could have issues.
That's not cool.
It's a joke.
PK, you're in the same position.
That's not fair or cool.
Honey, it's a joke.
A joke is what you go, ha,
No, it's an
ha,
English
that's
joke. It's
funny.
not an American joke.
I don't want to burst your bubble, PK, but Lisa's not talking to you.
Well, we'll see. Ken is definitely talking to me. I spoke to him for an hour.
Even after making various controversial remarks on the show and stirring suspicion, both Dorit Kemsley and Paul Kemsley continued to appear on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They hosted parties, made appearances, and showed up everywhere dressed head to toe in designer outfits, giving everyone the illusion that nothing was wrong, which was not the case at all. At the time, PK was reportedly dealing with a serious gambling problem, so severe that he ended up owing over $3.6 million to a casino in Las Vegas. The Bellagio Hotel and Casino had actually sued him back in 2013, when he was still living in the UK, but the lawsuit gained widespread attention only after he joined the show and became a public figure. And that wasn't the only case. In 2019, PK was sued again, this time for over $75,000 by a sports betting company. On top of that, he reportedly owed around $1.2 million in an unpaid personal loan. As these lawsuits began surfacing, they quickly made headlines across tabloids and media outlets. What people had initially suspected, that this couple wasn't quite what they claimed to be, was starting to look more and more real. The audience and even the cast members began asking uncomfortable questions. How was Dorit able to afford thousands of dollars worth of designer outfits, a full glam squad, private jets, and an ultra-luxurious lifestyle, while her husband was allegedly drowning in debt?
I didn't know where you were getting all this money from.
What are you talking about?
Your husband was telling me how he filed for bankruptcy. I was just like, wow, where does she get all this fancy cars? This Bentley she's driving around with, all these diamonds, your makeup, your glam, your clothes are outstanding. They're beautiful. I always said that.
PK reportedly owed millions, had ongoing gambling issues, and yet Dorit continued to present herself as someone living a life of effortless wealth, and that contrast didn't sit well with viewers. In fact, many began drawing comparisons between them and another controversial couple from the show, Erika Jayne and Tom Girardi, who were accused of being involved in multi-million-dollar fraud. And the most striking part? None of it seemed to visibly affect them. They continued to carry themselves on the show exactly as before. The only difference now was that people were paying closer attention and asking questions.
You know, and I see Dorit running around with very, very expensive clothes. We're talking about some of her tops could be $2,000 to $3,000, and the pants $2,000 to $3,000. There's a $6,000, outfit, not including the diamonds and the shoes. I question that. I question, like, how can you afford that? And she's acting like, oh, you're so horrible. I mean, give me a break here. Get over it. Come on. I mean, I'm not the only one questioning this. The other girls are questioning it too.
On the show, Dorit often tried to distance herself from PK's financial issues, but over time, that began to look less like separation and more like a strategy, especially when she herself was hit with a lawsuit from a business partner. Then, in 2021, reports surfaced that both Dorit and PK owed over $1.3 million in combined unpaid taxes, which raises an uncomfortable possibility that the luxury lifestyle they were showcasing may have been funded through unpaid debts, taxes, and loans. And that's not a good look. On top of everything, PK also appeared to have an unhealthy relationship with alcohol. Whenever he showed up on the series, he was rarely seen without a drink in his hand, leading viewers to speculate about a potential drinking problem. In later seasons, Dorit herself admitted that PK struggled with alcohol, even referring to him as a full-blown alcoholic.
Scared or not really?
No, and we're not going to. We can be doing things as a family like we're not in a toxic place. He's got a sober coach. That I'm not privy to that. No, this is
real.
He's a full-blown alcoholic.
And it doesn't stop there. In a recent interview, PK's ex-girlfriend, Rachel Uchitel, shared her own experiences. According to her, even during his bankruptcy period in the UK, PK was allegedly spending massive amounts on alcohol. She recalled one instance where he spent over $250,000 on expensive drinks.
Well, when you spend $250,000 on, Grey Goose and Casa Amigos, and that would help with your bankruptcy.
Yeah, I mean, it was a frivolous thing to do, but it got, at the time, that's what a lot of people, they were spending in the amounts of $80,000, $40,000 might have been the range. $250,000 was an incredible amount. Another time when he came in, he spent $400,000. So that was not the last time he did that. So he became known as one of our biggest spenders.
All of this paints a very clear picture. PK wasn't just living a luxurious lifestyle. He was spending far beyond his means to maintain it. And when you do that, it's only a matter of time before everything starts to fall apart. In October 2021, when both Paul Kemsley and Dorit Kemsley were facing intense backlash in the media for unpaid debts and allegedly hiding their true financial situation, a tragic event took place in their lives. PK's casino home was invaded by 3 armed robbers. They held Dorit at gunpoint while her children were asleep inside the house and stole thousands of dollars worth of designer items. The entire incident was captured on surveillance cameras, showing the intruders entering the home through a shattered glass window.
We have breaking news at 11. Real Housewives robbers caught on camera. It was a terrifying night for a star of the hit show as armed bandits stole thousands of dollars in valuables. Tonight, the LAPD releasing crystal clear news surveillance video that could help bring them to justice. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne.
While this event brought the Kemsleys an outpouring of sympathy from cast members and the media, not everyone was convinced. One of the most questioned details was that PK was conveniently in London at the time of the robbery, and given that he was already under pressure from mounting debts, some people began to speculate whether the situation had anything to do with insurance. However, it's important to note that nothing has been proven. These remain purely speculations. To this day, the investigation has not led to any major developments, and no one has been arrested. But in a strange turn of events, while the robbers remained out of reach, PK himself was arrested in Los Angeles just weeks after the incident. He was pulled over by police under suspicion of DUI. The incident was later discussed by the couple on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yeah. I haven't even told you, like, the anxiety I went through. I really haven't had a chance to update you.
Like what?
Well, when they've asked me to blow into the machine, they said the legal limit's 0.8 and I'm at 0.81. It was getting late and I didn't want you to worry about where I was, you know?
So you were pulled over by the police on suspicion of DUI and you were anxious about me worrying about you being late?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so, PK.
I'm telling you. All I wanted to do was call you, but I couldn't call you because my hands were behind my back. Do you understand? I couldn't use the phone.
Drinking, gambling, and maintaining a lavish lifestyle while owing millions. Those 3 elements seem to define PK during this period. He clearly had a pattern, and it was actively damaging both his social image and financial standing. While he did settle his long-running case with the Bellagio Hotel and Casino in 2019, many financial issues still remained unresolved, including unpaid taxes and personal loans. Amidst all of this financial pressure, Paul Kemsley's marriage to Dorit Kemsley was also taking a major hit. The stress seemed to amplify his drinking problem to the point where he appeared intoxicated in multiple episodes and was even photographed outside clubs. For years on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Dorit had tried to present their marriage as picture perfect. PK, too, came across as loving and attentive, but as their financial issues began surfacing on camera, rumors of a split started gaining traction. They shut those rumors down multiple times, but both the cast and the audience couldn't ignore the growing tension between them. In 2022, following the robbery incident, PK was seen dismissing Dorit's PTSD on several occasions. Moments like these only intensified scrutiny around their relationship. Even the cast members began to notice something was off, with Erica Jane openly describing their marriage as complicated. By the season 12 reunion, Dorit herself admitted that their marriage was going through a difficult phase, largely due to PK's drinking and his constant traveling. Around May 2024, after repeatedly denying divorce rumors, the couple finally announced their separation through a social media post. It suggested they were facing issues and needed time apart. Interestingly, just a month after that announcement, PK shared that he had reached 6 months of sobriety. So while the separation was unfolding publicly, he was, at least behind the scenes, working on his alcohol problem. And if Dorit's claims were anything to go by, that had been one of the core issues in their marriage. But even then, things didn't seem hopeful. By November, during a post-separation appearance, PK didn't sound optimistic about their future at all, even after getting sober. If anything, he seemed more checked out than ever.
Single PK.
I don't know if PK realizes that saying single PK is as hurtful as it is.
Look at me, I'm sitting there eating.
I know.
Although I'm kind of skinny for me at the moment.
Not if you keep eating like this. And I don't really know how he goes from married and committed to separated and single PK in 24, 48 hours. Feels like, whoa. How do you feel tonight?
I'm edgy.
Are you?
I feel edgy. You know, I didn't know how bad I had this disease. Drink is a symptom, not a cause. But, you know, I'm very clear now why we've made our decision, why we've done what we've done. I really am clear on it. Let me explain it to you this way. You're my best friend, and you're my wife, and we don't speak to each other nicely. If the server came over and we spoke to the server how we speak to each other, we'd be thrown out of this restaurant.
After this episode, many viewers stopped believing in the possibility of a reconciliation. To some, it even felt like Dorit was holding on to something that PK had already mentally walked away from. And then came the moment that confirmed it. In April 2025, PK was spotted on the streets of Los Angeles, making out with another reality TV personality, Shauna Wall. The video of the two sharing a steamy kiss quickly went viral, sparking widespread discussion. And just one day after that clip surfaced, Dorit officially filed for divorce from PK Kemsley. But their divorce, which is still yet to be finalized, may go down as one of the messiest splits in Housewives history. Because while moving on with a new relationship, Paul Kemsley has left behind frozen assets, foreclosure risks, and ongoing custody complications for Dorit Kemsley to deal with. Since Dorit filed for divorce first, she requested spousal support and sole custody of their 2 children. But PK, of course, was not having any of it. He later filed a response denying spousal support and sole custody, while also requesting a formal division of their shared assets. What started with a kiss quickly turned into a very public legal battle between Dorit and PK. In season 14 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Dorit also revealed that PK had sent her an angry 7-page email discussing custody and household expenses. According to her, he expected her to handle bills, mortgage payments, and everything related to the home. That email became a major topic among the cast, with Erica Jane even advising Dorit to hire legal protection.
He just
I'm
wrote
the
this
girl that wants to know.
really angry, horrible note.
What? What's in it? What did it say?
Just finances, and I'm gonna stop paying this, and you're gonna be liable for this. And
Where
so,
are we going with this? Honey, that's a divorce. I thought we were trying to take a little separation. Right, that's not a separation.
I wake up to a 7-page email, and it was a barrage. It was predominantly financials. His expectations were within a month or 2 that I will be responsible for the mortgage and all the bills associated with the house. It's like, what the
Get a lawyer.
There was also discussion of custody, lawyers, and threats.
While this was concerning behavior from PK, it wasn't the only issue looming over Dorit. In 2025, it was revealed that Dorit's Encino home was held under an LLC structure. Although Dorit and PK officially separated in May 2024, they managed to pay off a $300,000 notice of default in early 2025, temporarily pulling the 8,901 square foot property out of pre-foreclosure. However, the risk still remained. The LLC holding the property was reportedly suspended by the California Franchise Tax Board due to unpaid taxes and failure to file required returns, leaving the home still vulnerable until those issues are resolved. As of 2026, Dorit addressed the situation at the Housewives reunion, explaining that since PK had always handled the finances, she was unaware that mortgage payments had stopped and that the home had entered pre-foreclosure. She stated that she had since spoken to her estranged husband, and he agreed to handle the issue. She also denied rumors that the home was fully foreclosed, claiming that PK was resolving the issue, and then they would eventually sell the property and find a new home for her and the children.
A lot of questions wanting to know about the unpaid mortgage that we read about this year.
Well, that is something that I learned when a few weeks before everyone else learned. As we discussed at the reunion, it's something that, PK was in charge of. I didn't know. It was not being paid. We've since spoken, and he agreed to bring it up to date. And then we're going to put the house on the market, and the kids and I will, find a new home.
All right.
If you think that's the end of Dorit's financial struggles, think again, because according to reports, some of PK's financial issues may still affect Dorit in the future. In May 2025, lawyer Ronald Richards revealed that PK was accused of borrowing against the brand of Boy George. According to the claim, PK allegedly used Boy George's business as collateral for a loan, meaning if the debt is not repaid, the lender could potentially have a legal claim over those earnings. And it doesn't stop there. The situation could also indirectly impact Dorit, with suggestions that she may be financially entangled in that lien structure. If true, this isn't just messy. It suggests PK's financial issues may still be bleeding into Dorit's life, even after she filed for divorce. Recent seasons of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills have also revealed more about their post-separation dynamic. Dorit stated on the show that she has no clarity regarding the financial situation, explaining that she and PK have not had any proper discussion about who is paying what. According to her, financial responsibilities are often thrown at her without agreement.
You know, PK used to handle everything, and now it's like he's dumped a lot of things in my lap without any notice.
I've not had a conversation with PK to learn what he's expecting me to pay or what he's paying. I just find out from the business manager if he decides he's no longer paying something. It lands right in my lap. I don't know what's coming, when it's coming.
You know, I have to get a new business manager. I had to get a divorce attorney.
PK doesn't give me any money. Doesn't give me any money. He expects me to pay the bills. And he believes he's doing more than enough. I don't even know what he's doing.
These claims suggest that PK and Dorit are not aligned, not just financially, but also in terms of co-parenting. Dorit also claimed on the show that PK has not checked in on the children even once.
Never texted me once asking to see the kids.
Again, it's just I'm hearing different stories.
Responding to this, PK told TMZ that Dorit was not being truthful, but he would not discuss his children on a public platform.
What do you make of Dorit claiming in the Housewives trailer that you haven't texted her once to see your children? What do you say about that?
It's not true, but I'm not going to discuss the kids on TMZ.
Okay, I understand.
Throughout the recent season, Dorit has continued making serious claims against PK, even stating that her son is struggling emotionally due to the divorce proceedings, while also alleging that PK is making the legal process difficult for her.
I know, and dare I answer? You know, it's so unfortunate because it's unnecessarily,
contentious?
Yeah, contentious and more challenging than it needs to be.
Okay.
It just doesn't need to be.
Still.
Yeah.
Okay. Co-parent.
At this point, Dorit appears completely exhausted by the situation. Between financial pressure and custody disputes, much of the charm she once carried on the show seems overshadowed. Meanwhile, PK appears to have moved on with his new girlfriend. In response to several of Dorit's statements on the show, PK posted an Instagram story stating that he would not be bad-mouthing the mother of his children on social media. So the question remains, what do you think? Is PK truly the composed, sensible businessman he portrays himself to be? Or has his financial history, boundary issues, and alcohol allegations made him one of the more controversial figures in Housewives' history? He entered the show as a powerful businessman with elite connections, but has increasingly become one of the most controversial and financially questioned husbands in the franchise. Now, all that's left is to see how it all plays out in court. As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Whose side are you on?